Welcome to the final round of the Superside FIM Sidecar World Championship 2006. For the past 6 months, the teams have been battling for the top prize. The final round brings everybody to Sweden and the circuit of Karlskoga. The teams lining up for the first race of the weekend, the sprint race. Number 88 Tero Manninen and Pekka Koismanen, number 44 Pekka Pivarinta, second and third in the series at the moment respectively. Of course, Tim and Tristan Reeves already wrapped up the championship, but the battle is between the two Finns for that runner-up spot, just 11 points the separation. Tim and Tristan Reeves there on pole position once again. This tricky short track at Karlskoga, catching a lot of people out, but the usual suspects there all at the front. Pekka Pivarinta in third position, Jos Moser with a little help from his friend there in fourth position, and the local favourite Billy Gowross and English passenger Johnny Briggs. Well, they had a lot of problems in qualifying, but Bill Philp there with his Valentino Rossi t-shirt, is that going to bring Bill a bit of luck, I wonder? Tim Reeves relaxed as ever. Tristan there, his brother passenger, and his wife Zoe alongside him. Well, this Karlskoga track being used for the first time at the World Championship. Very short lap, just short of 1.5 miles. The lap record yet to be established.
Yes, indeed. I think that could well be set today as the man with the red flag gaily leaps over the Armco fences. The sprint race gets underway. Sun shining, track conditions. Well, someone's decided to take a bit of a detour there. Well, isn't the track wide enough, or in this case narrow enough? Race camera on board with Grabmuller, and Grabmuller on the Suzuki, looking back into the sun. What a wonderful shot that is. Oh, and they're all falling into each other.
Well, there's obviously been an incident there, and that's held up Bernd and Michael Grabmuller having to try and get back in. Well, Michael, you've gone a little bit early there.
I don't think he realises that he's lost his passenger.
I don't think he does. That was Billy Gowross and Martin Van Gils were also involved in that. So big incident at the first corner as they head their way round this tight, tricky circuit. Mike Roche and Al Alfani, and this is Bernd and Michael Grabmuller's machine without Bernd Grabmuller, and they don't go round corners without a passenger.
No, I think he's just realised the fact that he's missing something quite important.
On board with Pekka Pivarinta and Timo Kartiala. We are in third position. That is Tero Manninen, the fellow. Look at all that debris on the track there.
Well, that's obviously, I think, Ian, where they went off, because they brought a lot of muck onto that. I'm surprised the marshals aren't there with some brooms or something to sweep that off, because that's very dangerous.
Yeah, well, just a short 1 minute 7 second lap here, so very difficult for anything to happen. Tim Reeves out in the lead, and behind him there in the sunshine is Tero Manninen and Koismanen.
Oh,
and
Tim's off. Yeah. Oh, that dirt is causing havoc.
Well, that's Tero Manninen and Pekka Koismanen now in the lead of the race. Tim and Tristan Reeves going grass tracking through the ploughed field, and Pekka Pivarinta there right on the tail of his Finnish teammate.
Well, this is interesting because that is definitely a problem. Someone's headed into the pits.
That's Tim Reeves. Tim Reeves in the pit lane after that incident. Well, that looks like the world champions out of this race. Back on board with Pekka Pivarinta and Timo Kartiala heading down the start-finish straight one more time. Chasing, and there's a red flag. Red flag. Race has been stopped.
Yeah, but who is it that's got the red flag? It isn't an official. That looks like Tim Reeves has held the red flag out. So he's decided to act as a race director, and they won't be happy with that decision.
That's the FIM discussing what's happening. Restart of the sprint race as everybody gets away once again and heads into that first corner. We are missing Tim and Tristan Reeves. That's Bill Philp and Rick Long across the front of Pekka Pivarinta. Missing Tim and Tristan Reeves from this restart. They've damaged their machine when they went off into that field. And, well, what can we say about that one, Kenny?
Well, I've got to say that a little bit of sympathy for the new world champions, but I don't know, you know, obviously there's going to be some controversy, some discussion over that, with Tim taking it upon himself to act as the Clark of the course and stick the red flag out, but that corner was definitely dangerous, and something needed to be done, and I think the world champion probably made the right decision. However, the FIM will probably think completely different. That's why they're the FIM.
So back with the race, we've got Pekka Pivarinta behind Bill Philp and Rick Long on the Team Hanny racing machine. Out front is Tero Manninen and Pekka Koismanen as the rest of the pack. Andy Percy coming through there. Problem for Jos Moser and Ule Waffler.
Sounds like that's an engine misfire or something.
Sounds like a tractor. Now Pekka Pivarinta trying to pass Bill Philp and Rick Long. Very tight, narrow circuit here in Karlskoga, and the riders have been saying that really, if you're in front, it's very difficult for anybody to get past you. And no disrespect to Bill Philp and Rick Long, but I think Pivarinta is probably slightly faster. But Bill and Rick doing a good job holding on to that second place at the moment.
Yeah, Rick, one of the most experienced passengers on the circuit. He has been around a while, and Bill's no stranger to going fast. Former British champion, F1 champion, but this circuit is quite narrow, probably more suited to the F2s. Oh, problem there.
No, that's Moser. That's Moser that we saw with the problem, and he's just, got in the way of Pekka Pivarinta there. I don't think Pivarinta will be happy about that. And Pivarinta's still not finding a way past the slow Moser. He's going to go push him out wide on the inside there. Get over.
Wonderful things on board cameras. You get to see it all from a rider's point of view.
So, Bill Philp and Rick Long second, Pekka Pivarinta third. Remember, and that's Martin and Tony Van Gils spinning up the rear wheel. Martin Van Gils has announced he's retiring at the end of this season. So the last event for the Dutch father and son team. And that'd be a shame to see them go.
Yeah, I've got to say that's a shame, but there's a checkered flag nevertheless, so...
A win for Tero Manninen, and, well, we're all stopping a little bit quick after the checkered flag. Well, incident even after the checkered flag. So, the win for Tero Manninen and Pekka Koismanen. Bill Philp and Rick Long, first ever World Championship podium. Pekka Pivarinta third, the Van Gils fourth in one of their final races.
So Finland 1 and 3 with Bill Philp there in the middle. The two Brits, Rick Long, they'll be happy with that result. Bill, as always, very nonchalant about it.
First time we've ever been on the podium at a World Championship, so really happy for Rick as well. It's been meaning to try and take him up to the top bit by bit, and eventually we're one step from it. So
once again, easy race. Yeah, but good win.
But how about that red flag incident? Tim Reeves taking it upon himself to act as clerk of the course and to stop the race. What did he have to say?
In the heat at the moment with the adrenaline, there was an incident on the first corner, and there was a serious amount of debris across the road, and then on the next lap I went off on this debris. There was no sign of any flag, so in my opinion I classed it dangerous for myself and all the other competitors, and immediately came into the pit lane and asked them if they would stop the race, and just took it to myself to stop it. I mean, maybe it was the wrong way to go about things, but if the situation came up again, there was no doubt I would do the same thing again. You've got to think of the safety of all the riders above everything else.
Well, he's absolutely right in what he says, although perhaps he went about it the wrong way and it cost him $1,000 if he pays it. There is Tim, obviously thinking about that particular decision.
Well, the Finns, Pekka Pivarinta and Tero Manninen, will be battling now for that second position overall in the championship. This is the Van Gils' last race. Bill Philp was second last time out. Could he go one better?
In my own head, I win every race here, and you know that. It's just a matter of getting to the front, because obviously the circuit's so tight. If you don't get away at the front, you haven't got a chance in getting through.
Well, it was Adolf Harney that gave Bill Philp his chance. What did he think?
It's beautiful. He's a good guy, and small talk is perfect.
Oh, the ever jovial Adolf Harney there. And Kenny, never heard Bill Philp described as beautiful.
No, neither have I, but I shall remind him next time I see him that he's now beautiful. Here we go, the gold race, 32 laps, about to get underway here in Sweden. Sunshine in the track, well, controversial, but nevertheless, racing goes. It is the number 77 outfit. The reigning world champions go into the lead. Tim and Tristan Reeves, but it's now left for the rest to scrap over. Second, third, fourth, and we're on board with Pivarinta.
Yeah, and a good start from Jos Moser there. Moser up into third position, Pivarinta diving up the inside. Well, who said you can't pass on this track?
Well, you can, but it probably needs an excursion onto the grass.
For somebody.
Well, hopefully not for these guys at the moment, so they're staying clean into that second right-hander. They go, they're chasing down the race leaders, which of course are the new world champions, Tim and Tristan Reeves from Great Britain. But this is a good scrap here. And remember, the battle is still very much on for that second place, and here they go.
Pivarenta up the inside of Mannanen to take second place. He definitely wants to hang on to second in the World Championship, but Reeves has gone like a scalded cat.
Well, he's probably going to, he wants to win the prize money, if there is any, because he's got to pay that. Oh, it's gone off. Oh, he's gone. That's on the grass again. Well, Tim, I think he's thinks about taking out a bit of sidecar cross for this winter, I think.
It's not been his weekend, really, has it?
No, he's tends to have overcooked it slightly.
Well, possibly new tyres on that machine for this race causing a problem there. Very short warm-up lap, don't forget, so perhaps not quite up to temperature, but he got round most of the lap all right.
We're on board with Gary and Dan Knight, the father and son outfit, looking back at that number 5 outfit of Bill Philp. And Bill said if you don't get the starts here, you're in deep trouble. Looks like Bill is in that deep trouble.
Well, Gary and Dan Knight, the father and son team from Macclesfield, in 4th position at the moment. Bill Philp, now we're on board with Bill in 5th position. But the Redline Superbikes team of Gary and Dan, talking to them before the race, were quite confident they could get on the podium in this one. But it's the Finns out front, 1 and 2. Pivarenta holding 2nd position in the World Championship at the moment from Mannanen. Who's in 3rd position? It's Jos Moser and Ole Waffler, the Austrian-Swiss pairing, and they're 4th, 5th, 6th position for Mike Rocher. Tim and Tristan Reeves in there as well, so they're back on track and back in the hunt, but a long way down. Michael and Bernd Grabmuller. Well, he's got his passenger this time.
Yeah, yes. I think Reeves is going to demonstrate the art of overtaking on this track, one way or t'other, as they say.
Well, we've seen it before, haven't we, in Saxon Ring a few rounds ago, where he was off on the first corner and fought his way back. But it's Pekka Pivarenta and Timo Kartiala leading their teammates Tero Mannanen and Pekka Koismanen, both LCR Suzuki mounted, the Team Suzuki Finland squad. And they've wrapped up the team's championship already with the results from the sprint race. And now looks like they want to make it a 1-2 in this one as well.
So the battle on for second place between these two. It is Pivarenta and Mannanen behind him on a circuit which is admittedly difficult to overtake on. But we shall see who comes out the victor. So the battle is very much still on at the front. 3rd place, who is it at the moment? Looks like the number 11 outfit. Yes, indeed it is.
Yeah, Moser in 3rd, Gary and Dan Knight 4th, Bill Philp 5th, and that is Tim and Tristan Reeves in 6th position now as the rest stream through. Number 24, the Slovenian Milan Spendel, back on board with Gary and Dan Knight. Dan Knight's, well, you can see the whites of his eyes from that onboard shot.
Looking back at Bill Philp, and Bill, well, he said it, if you don't get the starts here, it's almost impossible, and looks like Gary Knight's pulling away.
Yeah, and that's Tim and Tristan Reeves coming down the inside of Bill Philp, so...
Who can't overtake?
Well, that's the world champion moving up into 5th position after that first lap off into the grass.
If Bill had rear view mirrors, he would have seen a 747 going past him.
Now under pressure, Gary and Dan Knight from the current world champions. Of course, the 2nd year that they've won the title. Reevesy looking for the outside as they come up into the hairpin. Chance to go by here. Not quite.
Well, if there's a space to be taken, I can assure you Tim Reeves will find it, if not make it.
Yeah, just look at the concentration there on the face of Dan Knight, the passenger on that number 37 machine. Bill Philp and Rick Long demoted a position by Tim and Tristan Reeves as we come through this fast sweeping S's. And Tim trying to look for a way past Gary Knight as they're coming back onto the main start and finish straight. Who's going to get the drive out of this long sweeping right-hander down this long fast straight into that well, ridiculously dead stop bend at the end of it. Blue flags being waved. But these guys are racing each other. They're not going to take any notice of that. Reeves up the inside.
Yeah, well, as I said, when it comes to making... he just acknowledges I think that Mr. Knight let him through. I'm sure he actually didn't, but that's a nice, polite move from Tim.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Gary Knight had no intentions of letting Tim
Absolutely
through.
Right,
but certainly didn't make it difficult for him. So.
Back at the front, and these are the two Finns. Remember, they're battling for the 2nd position although it doesn't really mean that much to anybody, because if you aren't the winner, who cares who's second or third. But these guys at the moment want to be in front of each other, so...
Yeah, Pekka Pivarinta second in the championship at the moment, but just 2 points ahead of that man, number 88, Tero Manninen. So whoever finishes in front of the other one in this race is going to take that runner-up spot.
The silver medal, as we say.
Bill Philp and Rick Long chasing Gary and Dan Knight. They've closed back up on the Knights as we come round this really difficult hairpin bend at the top of the circuit. The right kink out onto the start-finish line. And Tim and Tristan Reeves pulling out the slipstream of Jos Moser and Ule Waffler. So that's Tim and Tristan into third position now. The same manoeuvre the last 3 laps in a row.
Now the question is Tim going to play some part in the outcome of who's going to finish second? Because if he can catch those 2 Finns in front, I'm sure he's going to either get past one of them or both of them.
Yeah, it'd certainly be a red rag to a bull, or should that be a red flag to a bull now?
Yeah, as far as Tim's concerned, you should have brought that home with us and framed it for him.
I think the circuit manager's got it signed and hanging on his office wall.
Yeah, the $1,000, it's a pretty valuable red flag.
So Tim and Tristan Reeves now into third position. Ule Waffler, the passenger for Jos Moser, there in fourth position. Gary and Dan Knight fifth. Philpy down in sixth position, just ahead of his team boss Adolf Hanni. But the 2 leaders at the front, and it's still Pivarinta holding off Manninen. Very evenly matched pair. And beautifully turned out machines from the Team Suzuki Finland squad.
I have to say, looking at the gap between these 2 at front and Tim Reeves running back now in third, I don't think he's going to play any part in the outcome. But hey, you never know.
Well, that's Gary and Dan Knight just squeezing past Jos Moser. So Gary and Dan Knight moving up into fourth position. They said before the race they felt they could get on the rostrum. Well, they're one place away from it now.
Back markers beginning to come into play. There's the first 2.
Yeah, and just a little bit of a gap opening up there between Pivarinta and Manninen. Possibly that back marker just delaying the progress of Tero Manninen momentarily, but he's really on it there, and he's chucking it sideways and smoking that rear Yokohama.
How things could have been different this year for these 2. It could have been 1 and 2 in the championship, but those odd bits of bad luck. But we're back on board with the 2 Knights, and they are definitely it's who cares. They've got a big rest between now and next year, and of course some of them will be heading to the Sidecar Festival in October.
Yeah, throwing caution to the wind through there, weren't they? Dragging some stones onto the track. But there is Pekka Pivarinta now extending that lead over Tero Manninen, and that's number 77 Tim Reeves in the background. Manninen's got a problem. Well, I thought the gap had opened up quite significantly there, and Manninen has been off track. There he is.
Maybe that rear tyre has finally decided to cry enough is enough, and he's losing grip.
Yeah, the body language says that that's pretty much a terminal problem, I think. Staying out on the wide part of the circuit, Bernd Grabmüller going through. So that now leaves Pekka Pivarinta and Timo Kardiala clear in the lead. And that second position in the championship looking pretty much theirs now.
Tim and Tristan Reeves now in second place, chasing down the race leaders. Well, can they get through and take the win as they pass another back marker, number 35?
Yeah, number 35, actually, the Swedish driver, Johan Reuterholt. Dan Knight's eyes there looking serious, and no wonder, because that number 5 machine is almost on board with Dan Knight as they come round to complete another lap. Pivarinta in amongst the back markers again. Such a short lap here. This 1 minute 7 lap obviously creating problems with the back markers, but Bill Philp and Rick Long still giving chase to Gary and Dan Knight. And he's going to go up the inside.
Moser as well. Oh, this is tight. Who's going to come out? Well, Philp has gone through, I think.
Yeah, looks like Bill Philp now up into, well, that'll be fourth position. No, third position.
Third position.
Now, with the loss of Tero Manninen.
Yep. So Philpy on the podium again. Well, he said he wanted to get his passenger Rick Long on the podium twice in one day. It's not bad.
No, and here comes Pivarinta. And what is the gap to Tim and Tristan Reeves?
It's closing.
It's definitely getting smaller. Tim and Tris have got the hammer down. New lap record, I think, from the brothers from Kent. But have they got enough laps left in the dying moments of this race?
Well, I did say that if he split the two fins, which he has done, it's a tough one for the man that was in second place, Tero Manninen. Pavarinta now will try and keep the flag waving for the Finnish team by staying out front in front of the world champion, Tim Reeves, with his younger brother passenger, that's Tristan, there working hard in the back. But the gap, as you say, is shrinking dramatically, and if there are enough laps left, I've got a feeling we might see something going to the line here.
Yeah, it could well be. I mean, just thinking back through the season, poor old Pekka Piverinta, no points in round 2 at Karlskoga when his passenger was injured. And then, of course, Tero Manninen, no points in Rijeka. Oh! Big sideways, almost speedway style through from Pekka Piverinta. Thinks he's ice racing, I think.
Well, that's going to cost him time if he keeps doing that, and that'll allow that man to get even closer to him. But I think Tim's having his own share of problems with tyre slide at the moment, but seems to be more under control.
Yeah, certainly the pressure that he would have put that machine under in coming through from, what was he, about 7th or 8th, 9th position at the end of the opening lap after that grass track experience. Now up to second position, he's got Pavarinta in his sights, but it's whether that gap is just too much. He won't give up though.
No, it doesn't seem to bother him. Things like tyres going off and stuff like that just doesn't seem to bother him. He just keeps the hammer down, keeps the nose pointing forward, and here he comes, and that gap is definitely shrinking. We've got a back marker in between there. Looks to me like Martin Van Gils with Tony Van Gils in the chair, so they obviously have some kind of problem in their last race of their career.
Yeah, Tony Van Gils is going to switch to driving a sidecar, but it's not going to be a road race sidecar, he's going motocrossing.
Well, that's a very strange decision, although there's been some great riders come out of that country as far as motor sidecar cross is concerned. Race leader, number 44, Pekka Pavarinta, heading towards the checkered flag. Reeves is not going to catch him. There is that checkered. I think another couple of laps he would have had him, but nevertheless, they've won it. Reeves is going to finish second, although for him it's a bit of an anticlimax because they're already been crowned the world champions. So Pavarinta and Kartiola take the win. From Reeves and Reeves, Bill Philp and Rick Long, they made it on to the rostrum, beating Gary and Dan Knight into 4th place.
Well, there, Pekka Piverinta on the right, Timo Kartiola on the left, Bill Philp and Rick Long, and Tim and Tristan Reeves, the traditional champagne shower.
I think it's quite a 2-on-1 or 4-on-2 there.
No sekinä uskon, että olisi pystynyt voittaa se ja 5 kerrosta ennen loppuun niin mä.
Well, Pekka Piverinta just explaining that before the race he never thought it was possible to win here, but after a while he thought it was very possible, and it was only about 5 laps from the end that he realised Manninen was out of the race and it was Reeves behind him. But number 1, he hopes that number 1 is the position for them next year.
Tosi hauska kisa.
So the final 2006 championship standings: Tim and Tristan Reeves, Pekka Piverinta, Timo Kartiola, Tero Manninen and Pekka Koismanen, the top 3. Delanoy, Laidlow and Moser, the top 6. Gary Knight up to 7th. Richard Gatt and Paul Randall, Bill Philp and Rick Long, and Mike Rosser and Adolf Hanni rounding out the top 10.
Well, the FIM presenting the official document to say that Tim and Tristan Reeves are the world champions for 2006. Were they happy with that result? Of course they were.
Good, yeah, brilliant. I couldn't have never. 1 was just a dream come true, but now 2, it's amazing, yeah, just unbelievable. Hopefully next year we can come back and be strong again next year. We've got to thank Richard Lake from Eastern Airways. You know, after unfortunately with Dave dying at the end of last season, we lost our ride with Team Roberts. So Richard stepped in with some much valued sponsorship, and then we were able to sort of get the team together. And thanks to Roger Body as well, and Neil Pallett from H&S. There's loads of people we can thank. Goody Demolition and Commercial Tyres. The list goes on. Without all these people, we would never have been able to do it. So, yeah, a big thank you very much to all our sponsors, and I hope they're pleased with us winning the World Championship.
I'm sure everybody's pleased for Tim and Tristan. The Team Suzuki Finland squad won the Superside team standings for the year, sharing 8 wins apiece with the Team Eastern Airways. Adolf Hanni's team moved up to 3rd position in the final few rounds, but of course it was a happy Team Suzuki Finland number 1.
Well, that's it for the 2006 season from myself, Kenny Kay, and my co-compatriot Ian Guy, and all the team in the production. Hopefully we'll see you in 2007 for more Great World Sidecar action. See you then!